And I'm very excited today because I've got Don Biswas in the house, but not actually in the house, in the Pleasance courtyard, because he's come up to Edinburgh to help with the Abnormally Funny People show with my friend Simon Minty, and he's been on a few nights already, and he's here before the show, so I thought I'd ask him a few questions before the show and then after the show, depending on how he goes. That's him laughing in the background. Are you in the shot? Don Biswas. I'm quite new to this technology. No. It's got a face tracker, but it's tracking my face rather. I think it's a racist face.
Racist face tracker.
That'd be funny, wouldn't it? It's Don Biswas. Don Biswas, very, very, very funny comedian. When did you start comedy, Don?
I only started last week. No. Can we start that again?
No, I'm going to put that on. That's all right.
I usually have a joke saying that I've been going for 18 years, but I started last week. Right. But I completely effed that up. No, I started 18 years ago in 2000. I did my first gig in 2006 in the Bedford in Balham. My sister's boss was performing as a bet. I came to watch. I thought I could do that arrogantly. And then I told my proud Indian parents and my whole family that I was going to be a clown.
Straight after that gig?
Well, I told my sister, and she looked like, I'm going to do stand-up comedy, and obviously, it doesn't matter what family you come from, no one wants their siblings or anyone in the family to be a clown.
But you do a lot of jokes about your overbearing Indian mother.
By the way, it's 2025 and everyone's still talking about the pandemic. I was prepared than most, because I live with my overbearing Indian mother. So I've been in lockdown for 39 fucking years. If I didn't have an overbearing Indian mother, I wouldn't have a career. I get loads of material, and plus it's all self-deprecating. The more self-deprecating stuff I do about my Indian mother, and even the life I lead, like the downtrodden person with neurodivergent, like autism and dyspraxia, the funnier it gets. And then off that, I can talk about politics and more loftier ideas. Yeah. I don't believe in a religious nationalism. Like my parents' homeland of India, where they had to flee their village because of religious reasons. Because everyone in that village was Sikh, and my parents were hairdressers.
I suppose you've already nearly answered it, but why did you start? What gave you the urge? There's this great comedian called Paul Tompkinson. When I was at university, I saw this program called, I think it was Take the Mic, and I wrote a couple of jokes. Paul Tompkinson was emceeing it, like new comedians, and I thought I could write a few jokes. And then, as I said again, a few years later, I saw my sister's boss perform, and I thought I was unemployed, I've got nothing to do. I always wanted to be in an indie band, but I tried to learn the drums, and it took about 10 lessons to figure out I was left-handed, so the drum kit was the wrong way round. So comedy was the only thing I could actually do. Was that to do with the dyspraxia? The
yeah, before I got diagnosed, yeah. Or me just being an idiot. So.
Why did you get how did you get diagnosed? Why? What was going on?
In 2007, I came out of university. I just about passed the degree with a Desmond Tutu, yeah. And then I got sacked from every job I ever had. And being serious, I had a breakdown. I said, I've got an average intelligence. I managed to do A-levels in uni, and yet I can't hold down a basic admin job. And then
what's the joke you do with your mother about education?
I'm more right-wing and she's more left-wing. The basic premise is that I was university educated. I forgot the joke now.
That's all right. I might film it tonight.
Yeah, I'll film it. Come and watch tonight. But another joke I said is I went to a Church of England school where I failed my GCSEs. And I didn't want my proud Indian parents to find out. Luckily, the Church of England are good at keeping secrets.
Don Biswas, how did you get diagnosed with dyspraxia, among other things, or was that the first one?
That was the first one. So what happened was I went to university because having learning difficulties doesn't affect intelligence, but I got sacked from every job I ever had, like an admin job. Not only am I a left-wing comedian, I'm neurodivergent as well. I have ADHD, dyspraxia, on the spectrum, I have OCD. I had a job interview for the National ADHD Society, and one of the questions they asked me was, where do you see yourself in 5 minutes?
Why did you get sacked?
I was too slow, all over the place. I think in the admin job, working for active consultancies like Red Letter Day, I lost like a 10 grand watch.
Did you?
Yeah, I put, instead of ticking 1, I ticked 2, I think.
Oh no.
So yeah, and that was the start of the end.
Which is a strange thing, because I talk about watches, and you don't wear watches, do you?
No.
I do a thing in my thing where what watch I'm wearing. I'm wearing a Christopher Ward watch on this interview, but I'll talk about that later. But that's a weird coincidence. But anyway, go on. Yeah.
Yeah. So what happened was that watch, I was told 2 watches was to use. So I can have 1 watch back. So, no. But yeah. And then I had a breakdown because what is wrong with me? I can't hold down a basic job, and I tried to commit suicide because I didn't know there was nothing wrong with me. Because coming from a strict Asian family, if you couldn't see it, it didn't exist. And when my dad died, I found out there was a letter written to the primary school saying that there might be something wrong with me.
Right.
But my parents chose to ignore that, and I think they're a neurodivergent themselves.
Oh,
so,
seriously? Yeah.
So it all came out when I was about 24, 25. And my first official diagnosis was mild traits of Asperger's, and then I got official diagnosis of dyspraxia, but my therapist, I think, was dyspraxic because she lost the report.
That's just...
Yeah.
It's a long line of dyspraxic mistakes.
Exactly. And then that's how I went in comedy. I fell into it accidentally, but yeah. And comedy is the only thing I could do. So it's around about the same time I did comedy, 2006, 2007.
Do you think your dyspraxia affects your comedy, or certainly makes it a different viewing experience? I mean, and you obviously play on that.
Then I come pushing my trolley with my weird dyspraxic walk. Which you couldn't tell I had when I was younger, because I was a child of the mid-90s. So everyone thought I was fucking mad fluid.
But do you think it affects the way you write material?
I think being on the spectrum as well affects both of it, affects dyspraxia, because I don't have the natural stage presence other comedians have. I don't have that everyman stage persona, but in terms of writing, I think it's made me a better writer. I take things too literally, and so maybe that's quicker to get to jokes. And ADHD, I'm always desperate to get to the punchline, so I don't faff about.
Is that a trait of ADHD, do you think, of trying to...
Yeah, just get quickly to the punchline, because I don't want to lose the audience, even when you're talking about politics. You know?
Because that's a strange one of ADHD, about not wanting to lose the audience. I mean, I don't think I've got ADHD, but in my jonglers days, that was a different reason of trying to get to the punchline, because you don't want to get someone to heckle you. So that was a different thought process of thinking, I've got to get to the punchline because the audience are going to throw something at me or do something worse.
I totally agree, but at the same time, now I have more confidence. I can relax. Once I've had a few jokes, I can take command of the audience. I don't have to rush. My dad was a doctor, and I never got to speak to him when he was younger. My mum didn't want me to have any contact with him. She was a GP receptionist. I still haven't got that natural presence, but they know that with the short one-liners I start off with, I like to think they think I'm funny, and then I can just relax into it.
Do you think you can learn how to have a different stage presence, or would you forget that, or because...
I think you can learn, but also I don't feel myself at every gig, so sometimes you can forget as well. So I just got to remind myself little things just to slow down, wait for the punchline to come and have confidence in your act. It will be funny. So. And
what about your eye contact with the audience?
Sometimes it can be scary. I just go like that, stare at them. But yeah, sometimes I'm like an owl. I have to make sure I make eye contact with everyone.
But are you actually making eye contact, or acting the sense of making eye contact?
I think it's more acting the sense of making eye contact. Because when I first started, I think people diagnosed me as being on the spectrum of promoters because I didn't make eye contact with the audience.
Right.
But I started comedy on the London open mic circuit, so there was no audience. So you're just looking anywhere. But yeah.
So Don Biswas of Donny Biswas. What would you do if you weren't doing comedy? I mean, you're more like a dream job, not necessarily what would you want to do, but if there was any job you could do.
Yeah, my dream job would be to be an indie band. I love the Smiths, the Cure, the Stone Roses. I'm like what they call a coconut. I'm white on the inside, but brown on the outside.
Jake laughing at that. Jake, it's the sun. Oh, it's a bit sunny that way. They might have to come around that way.
That's okay.
Jake Jake Donaldson.
That's my name, yeah.
Jake Donaldson. he's stepped in for us, and he's fantastic comedian.
Thank you.
I might interview him for another proper full episode. But also, Don, I was more thinking, not in showbiz. Is there a kind of job that, growing up as a kid, you think, oh, I'd like to do that? Or there's nothing there?
I was quite political when I was young.
Yeah.
This sounds very pretentious, but I wouldn't mind being a political campaigner of some sort.
Yeah.
I've been on protests about austerity. There's nothing funny here, but
There must be something funny there.
fight for other people. So even though I can't fight, so.
But you did do a joke. You do jokes about it though. Don't you?
Speaking of immigration, I nearly didn't make it to this gig. 2 trains were cancelled from Wimbledon. Therefore, if this government wants to stop the boats, then they should get the railway companies to operate them. Yeah, I talk about it, but I need to get my head out my so-and-so and protest more.
But you would like to be involved?
Yeah, in politics somehow. But I'm very disorganised, so. But so are our leaders, so. I tell you the type of comedian I am. I'm a left-wing socialist comedian. But I do corporate gigs because I'm broke and I need the money. Last year I did a corporate gig for IKEA. I purposely missed out some of the punchlines to the jokes, just to see how they'll fucking like it.
So I'm interviewing Don Biswas for this episode of Steve Best Shoots, and today, I think I mentioned it a little bit earlier, I'm wearing my Christopher Ward C65. It's a super compressor elite. It's a dive watch. It's one of my favourite watches. It's a beautifully designed watch, automatic, just beautiful. I really do like it. It's very unusual. I do go for the unusual, and this is unusual, just in the colouring and the styling of it. And I'm on a blue background, which goes with my eyes as well. I'll put the specs below, but this is the Christopher Ward C65 super compressor elite. It's quite hard to say. Maybe I'll change the name of it. I mean, we just finished the show and it was a fantastic show. Don was on second, but then he came on afterwards to do something at the end, give out some prizes. But it was very funny. It was very funny. How was the show?
It was brilliant. It was a lovely show. I effed up the ending a little bit. I was giving out the T-shirt and other merchandise, and I said to the guy, "Welcome to the show," even though it was close to the end. But I worked it all out in the end. So,
what is your best gig?
The best gig I've done, I think one of the best gigs I did was 2014. I don't want to get a bit morbid, but my dad passed away. And one of the first gigs I did was for a group of Leighton Orient fans. It was for Nigel Lover as a charity event. And everything just clicked into place. And on the gig was one of my comedy heroes, was Terry Alderton. He was on afterwards, so it's just it was a great gig afterwards because I got to see him afterwards.
I interviewed Terry Alderton, but why was it such a good gig for you?
The whole audience just went for every joke, and that's why. And that very rarely happens. So it was just really memorable. It was just I got a few applause breaks, and that regularly doesn't happen as a comedian. So I was just pleased with myself. But since then, it's gone downhill.
What do you mean? Is that a joke?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. It's funny because your expression is the same.
Yeah, I know.
What's your worst gig?
2 worst gigs in a row. I did a black comedy night, and the gig was fine. I was just really terrible. And I was so bad that the compere came on and had to take me off stage. Yeah, the compere was lovely and everything. And then I went straight to the King Gong show at the Comedy Store. I only lasted 40 seconds. And the thing is, there was a guy who was on about for 35 seconds. So afterwards I gave him a little bit of advice on how to last a bit longer. So
I'm going to ask you about, because this is about photography as well, because I've got a lovely picture of you that I'm going to put up on the screen of you when we were rehearsing, I think, for Abnormally Funny People, and you're caught in the mirror.
Yeah.
You know that picture?
Yeah, I think it's black and white. Yeah, that was a great photo.
Really lovely picture. But I always ask if you've got a favourite picture.
Yeah, my favourite picture is actually from a rival comedy photographer.
I knew you were going to say something like that.
No, my favourite picture is one you took. It was playing the three-headed game with me and fellow disabled comic Gareth Berliner and Lawrence Clark. And I love that. We're just having so much fun in the moment. And also Gareth and Lawrence are just two of my favourite comedians, but more importantly, two of the best humans you could ever meet in stand-up comedy.
Oh, no.
Sorry. Sorry again.
Don, favourite joke? It could be yours or someone else's you've heard, but it's about comedy as well. So favourite joke?
I'll do my favourite joke first, which is that reviewers absolutely hated is, which is I'm not an offensive comedian. I'm a Hindu. I don't have beef with anyone. But my favourite joke is from one of your friends, Otis Cannelloni.
Yes.
Just a genius performer and great gag writer. Is I went out with a dog walker. It wasn't just me, there were several of us.
I've got to do a selfie with Don Biswas. Let me just get the phone up here. Photo. Done. I'll edit this. Don Biswas, thanks for the interview.
Thank you very much, cheers.
What's going on now?
I'm going to see a fellow autistic comedian, Marjorie Bloom. She's struggling to get a bit of audience. She's really good, so I'm going to see that at the C Venues 40.
What about going on in your life?
Oh, sorry.
Comedy-wise?
Sorry. What's going on?
There's the thing about taking things literally.
Yeah, exactly. I'll be going back and just gigging on the circuit. I'm trying to build my Instagram following, so follow me at Don Biswas Comedy. And then I've got to attend to my overbearing Indian mother.
Give us a hug.
Cheers. Thank you very much. Cheers.
Don Biswas.
Awkward autistic hug.
It was, wasn't it? It was very...
My parents and me disagree politically. They're right wing, I'm more left wing. I believe we have a two-tier system at the moment. Socialism for the rich. This government will do anything to help us rich friends, which I will not clamp down on tax avoidance. It's a travesty. And then we have capitalism for the poor. We're helping them less and less. That's why we no longer have free university education. Luckily, my parents paid my tuition fees. I mean, I was home educated. I'm surprised they charged me in the first place.